Welcome to Softcore History.
Hello and welcome back to the Softcore History Podcast. My name is Jake Goldman. I will be your host for today. It's my day, my episode, my rules.
It's my time. It's my time.
That's
down
Rob
here.
Fox talking over me. So, hey, Dan, how are you today? Dan Regester, our other host.
Don't care.
Great to be back.
Yeah,
I
as
wasn't
always.
here last week, unfortunately.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, so
You
just
weren't?
great to be back in the saddle.
Not mentally.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're on your
Phone's
phone.
been
the whole
put away.
Yeah.
Good. This is a lot to learn.
I like
today.
that you gave me just a preview of my life as a father, like 15 years from now. Put your goddamn phone down.
You're going to be yelling at kids to get
Sick
off the
of
lawn.
it.
There's not a chance in hell they still have phones in 15 years.
So you're not going to know they're looking at it. It's going to be a chip in their
I'm
brain.
just going to walk into the bathroom and watch my son. Like, he wouldn't be masturbating. He'll just be fucking a hologram.
You'll be so lucky as to see what your son's fucking if you walk in. Like, it'll probably be like
Will it?
so self-contained, it's like in his mind. Like, you know what I mean? You don't even know what weird shit he's up to.
That's true. So but he will still be doing something. So he'll just be like, you'll have to watch the video for this, but he'll just be like,
You
and
ever,
won't see what's happening.
you ever been to a silent disco?
Yeah, it'll be
like that.
You know what? I
Silent
think
orgy.
we're going to actually, I would argue we're going to revert back. He's just going to be fucking a tin can.
Okay.
What era is that from?
I think
Depression?
my son's gonna catch me like normal masturbating, and he's like, "Ew, you do it analog, you fucking creep."
God, you fuck your own hand?
I mean, once we go into a nuclear apocalypse and we live out Fallout.
Yeah.
well, I was reading that nuclear winter is not even really a thing anymore, though they think would happen.
It's just more of like a nuclear kind of just
Meh.
Texas winter.
It's like nuclear autumn.
You know why I'm not worried about nuclear winter in Texas? Because I'll just wait 5 minutes and the weather will change.
Ooh,
I
nice,
live in
nice.
Texas.
And the power grid will be down regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be down before anything happens.
Yeah.
That's not us saying what will happen. Don't come and look for us. But
Which I would like to just kind of bring this up. Remember when we did an entire episode on a history show about the winter storm because we thought we were living through history, and now there's currently like
I am gonna do my next is gonna be on Russia.
okay.
I am gonna do.
We've already done like 18 episodes on Russia.
I know, but this is going to be like a broad history of, because Putin is like, what's funny is, and I've said this other places, like with the invasion of Ukraine, people get really hung up on the whole like reestablish the USSR thing. That's a total fucking red herring. This guy's not a fucking communist. He doesn't even like communism. Honestly, if you asked him about like the actual tenets of communism, socialism, like the people,
I can.
the workers.
You want me to text him right now?
Yeah,
Or-
please do. He would like the people, the workers, like the common man. He would kind of just be like, that's queer.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's not what he's into.
he's very aggro.
He's a czarist. Like he wants to be like a fucking like Christian monarch.
He wants pogroms.
Yeah.
he wants
Like,
fucking.
that's what he
yeah.
fucking wants.
It's super religious nationalism.
Yeah.
like
The only thing he likes about the USSR is that was when Russia was its most influential and powerful.
Right.
The actual like they didn't. This is not a real communism hasn't been tried thing, but like the actual whatever behind it, whatever the fuck you wanted to call that, he doesn't care about how like the governance or what the philosophy was. He was just like, dude, we were huge
Yeah.
and really powerful, and that was dope.
Yeah, it's like
But he'd rather be a czar.
it's like Nebraska reminiscing about the wishbone.
Right.
They're like, yeah, we don't really care
And
about.
we see
We don't
what
want to do that
happens
again.
when you bring
yeah.
They
back
want to be
Scott
as
Frost,
good.
you
Yeah,
know?
they want to be as good as when they ran the option, but they don't want to run the option.
No,
again.
that's not going to work. That's
Right.
going to be terrible to watch.
Well,
but
they're trying to figure out how to pay Scott Frost to leave soon.
yeah.
already, huh?
What do you mean already? He's been there for like what 4 or 5 years now.
that quarterback's been there just as long as he has.
Well,
Nebraska,
no. Actually, Martinez transferred to Kansas State.
Oh,
like Russia, Nebraska needs to understand who they really are.
dead,
Yeah,
dying empire.
Well, they were the best 3-9 team in the country this past year.
They really were.
That was
Like
great.
that's a weird thing to say.
They were in
but
every single game.
I think they lost everything by like one score, right? Or
they lost
less.
a lot by one score.
Couldn't possibly be coaching.
No, that's not a coaching issue.
No.
That's effort. From
That's
the team.
actually kind of like a luck issue at
That's
that point.
plays
If you're
on the
losing
field.
by one score every game, that's almost. It takes like really bad luck to lose like 7 games by one score.
does. But today we're going to talk about history instead of that
Okay.
because we tried that once.
Well, that
and-
happened in the past, so
No, not
As long as we don't talk
not
about
in
right
our
now.
past. Not in our past that we're allowed to talk about.
Okay, that's
'Cause
true. We have a 20-year rule.
That's
Except when Rob wants to talk about the ice storm.
Yeah, or Russia. Anyway, we're going to talk. This is old for me. I'm going like old history. This is old for me, not you, Rob. But this is going to be. We're talking 15th century Italian empires.
Sick.
Hey, Mambo.
Mambo Italiano.
Italiano.
Yeah, except no, there is no unified Italy right now.
Really didn't unify till after the Civil War.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking specifically about the Florentine Empire. But this whole entire episode is going to involve conspiracy, noble bloodlines.
Wow,
Sick.
surprise.
Yeah, right. Money and power. These are all central tenets in a murder plot that we will be discussing today. It's set in 15th century Florence, and it circles around the Medici family.
Now, did they give the Scarface speech?
There was some random guy playing like a, what do you call it, an accordion?
Yeah.
While some marble mouth dude was
Well,
like,
he goes, first you get the money.
You guys
Oh, I'm talking about the Godfather. I'm talking about the Godfather.
conflating Al Pacino films.
Yeah, that happens though.
You know what I was watching clips of the other day? That's like the funniest fucking movie. But it like really bums you out is Glengarry Glen Ross.
That movie, dude, I've tried to get through Glengarry Glen Ross a couple times, but it's not a movie you can get really high and watch.
No. But the funniest part of it, and I don't know if it's satire or if that's just how
Yeah,
people
this
thought
super
back.
broad reference. Everyone's going to get this.
Glengarry Glen Ross.
Coffee's for closers. Everyone knows
Yeah.
that.
ABC, always be closing. But the funniest part is like over and over again, including in that speech, they're like selling like vacation real estate or like nice homes or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm building a home right now, right? Like I've been on the other side of this.
Congratulations, I guess, dude. Like, you
Thanks.
make enough money to build a home.
Thank you. Make the same amount of money as me.
No, I make more than you.
Good. You should. Thank God. I felt bad about that for a while.
Yeah.
You do more than me. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny, but I
No.
mean, it wasn't right.
To be honest with you, I was trying to find my place and I missed your joke.
But no, like it throughout Glengarry Glen Ross, they're like selling like new homes or something.
Yeah.
But these salesmen are like, you think you could fuck around? This is a man's game. What makes you think you got the balls? And I'm like building a house like these guys are selling. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you think you got the fucking stones for this? Fuck you, you queer, fuck you. Like, that's the whole movie. And I'm like,
Again,
dude,
That is the entire movie. Yeah, it is nuts.
That is too
Queer.
Q drops by Rob, but he was in character for both. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not using the word myself, but no, like that movie's fucking hilarious.
It's funny in like hindsight. Like if you really put the context to it, yeah, it's
I'm
amazing.
like, guys, you're selling like what would today be like a $500,000 home. This is not high stakes shit. Like, calm down.
Yeah, Glengarry Glen Ross, and there's another movie that just puts me to sleep every time. I know
try
it's a
to
good
tell
movie.
that to me when I was doing hard money lending. Okay,
Dude, no.
Did
Hard money
people
lending,
routinely
no.
walk up to you and be like, "What the fuck do you think you're doing here? You
3
fucking,
points, 3 fucking points.
you limp dick
At 8%,
little boy."
I can go down the street right fucking now, get 2 points at 4-5.
Sure.
Should we make a sketch that's like Glengarry Glen Ross, but it's selling like even lower stakes shit? Like it's
Candy bars for Boy
It's for
Scouts.
like Cutco or something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's Cutco knives.
Yeah.
We have to
God.
run a
You
background
think
check.
you got the fucking balls to walk into a house and sell knives like you're a man?
What's funny is knives were one of the prizes you would win.
I know, it's just
in
steak knives.
Glengarry Glen Ross. If you didn't get the car,
Yeah.
you got the knives. And if you didn't get the knives, you got fired.
What's
Yeah.
awesome though too is there's nobody behind the board right now, so no idea if we're blowing out the mic.
It's fine.
Oh no, probably.
The best part, I love that. God, that movie. The line, I don't think that you can watch that movie as a whole, but the lines in it are so good. You're a good dad? Fuck you, go home and play with your kids. They're
so-
just like, it's cutthroat, but it's for like
Imagine-
middle America real estate.
Yeah, that's like the guys at Best Buy selling fridges. That should be who it is.
When's the last time Best Buy?
refrigerator with a TV in it? You think this is a boys' game?
When's the last time Best Buy actually sold a fridge?
I can't, like, at least once.
Would they ever?
They have to. They still have them.
Do do those stores still exist? Really?
Well, Dan, it's really fucked up. You just said that.
Is this a segue into the Medici family?
No, it's a
Okay.
segue into the Goldman family history.
Okay.
We are appliance people, Dan. I don't know if I've told you this.
No, you
Goldman
don't.
Appliances.
Okay, like washers, dryers.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything.
We don't sell
standard.
it anymore, actually. We just do the service. The
You guys-
game.
Well, yeah, you still money launder, but
No, that's the worst part. We don't do anything shady for a Jewish business.
you don't sell.
Well, you exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we will be talking about shady businesses, but not Jewish ones today.
Do you have an uncle that sells jewelry?
I don't know.
Probably, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's some guy that's
racist.
just losing bets and flipping Bart Simpson chains up in New York that's related to me somewhere.
This is how I win.
Yeah, dude. I didn't care for that movie, to be honest.
movie sucked.
That movie did suck. Thank you
The
for saying
best
that.
part about that movie was Julia Fox, right?
Is that who the love
whatever-
interest was? Yeah.
Kanye West's.
Yeah,
ex-
whatever. We're not talking about
whatever.
Ye. Anyway, today we will be discussing the Pazzi conspiracy to murder Lorenzo de' Medici and his brother Giuliano.
Well, was he asking for it?
You'll find out.
I don't know, man. They make great coffee.
Medici does make good coffee.
Medici, and is that just in Austin?
I think that is just in
Yeah,
Austin. I'm
great.
sure there's another Medici coffee out there.
I'm a
Right?
Folgers
The-
guy.
Yeah.
You're a Folgers?
Folgers.
man?
No. Saw a tweet, speaking of G pronunciation. It's like 2024, God's just going to come down and be like, it's pronounced Jod.
Yeah, and go back up.
Go
I
back
saw
up.
it.
That was
made me
good.
laugh.
The details surrounding the conspiracy are nothing short of a Game of Thrones meets Godfather cloak and dagger enthusiast's wet dream.
Sick.
But before we discuss the plot and outcome of the hit that took place in 1478 Florence, it is incredibly important to understand the historical significance of the Medici family and their contributions to not only Italian society, but the entire Renaissance itself.
This is a banking family, right?
The Medici family is, drumroll please, a banking family.
Hey.
Yeah, you got it.
Do what I can.
A few of their innovative banking techniques and financial instruments they use to amass their wealth and banking empire are still used commonly today.
I mean, the Italians essentially like invented modern banking. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And
the
now
Medici-
they're kicking their fucking feet up.
Dude,
yeah,
they've
they're
been
resting
slacking off.
I think Italy's been resting on its laurels since the Renaissance, to be completely frank.
Well, they tried in World War II, but they did a very bad job.
yeah, they thought they were going to nail it, and they just
Yeah.
got to.
Couldn't even take down Ethiopia.
Yeah, that's not good. For some finance nerds out there, here are the three biggies that are still around in today, like as far as like modern banking stuff. So this is insane to me. Like this will tell you
They
exactly.
invented these things.
Yeah.
Wells Fargo.
No. Double entry accounting, which, what do you think that is? Because this cracked me up because it's like no one thought of this.
Well, like verifying your identity?
No, double entry accounting is how you calculate assets basically by combining liability and equity on the same ledger. So
Okay.
instead of like, this is everything we spent on this paper, this is everything we got on this paper.
Like in total
we gotta-
separate books?
Yeah, we got to reconcile this.
Yeah,
Like, no, they
okay.
were like, no, just do it on the same fucking ledger.
Oh, all
So
right.
yeah, it's a really quick way to calculate your real-time equity or your real-time asset holding.
Like what your actual net worth is.
Yeah, right.
Because someone could be like, oh, no, he's got like 20 million lira or whatever the fuck they used on that. But then you look over, it's like, oh, no, he's 30 million in debt.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, he has that, but the liabilities that he has and the debts he owes, he
Yeah.
actually doesn't have anything. Another big thing they established were the first holding companies. So, like, it wasn't actually called a holding company, but they had so many branches of the bank that they had a head branch that kind of had financial control of all of them and invested interest in all of them in order to, they basically had a share of the controlling power of each of these branches. And that's what a holding company is. They don't produce anything or trade anything or anything like that. It's just controlling interest in other companies.
The best kind of company.
It's a company of companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And then the most important thing they did, and if anyone knows me personally, this is going to be really fucking annoying to hear, but they invented the letter of credit. Do you remember the job I had before the job I just left?
I don't, off the top of my head.
I worked for a company that produced software for letter of credit trade finance documentation.
Sounds legit.
Good
Yeah.
Lord, you just put me to sleep.
Oh, I'm about to put you to sleep more in a second.
Jesus Christ. What? You threw out the rest of the episode?
No,
I just said that line was boring, and you're like, oh, it gets worse.
No. I'm just going to explain what a letter of credit is, though, because it is actually really important understanding how they got so fucking rich so fast.
Perfect. This is like when I'm having someone do my taxes and they're explaining it to me, and I get so bored that I'm like, I'll give you I'll give the IRS $10,000 to leave right
Could we
now.
not just bring somebody else in to be kind of like a guest speaker for this? Kind of like Margot Robbie and
Here's
The
Margot
Big
Robbie in a
Short?
bathtub. Yeah, no, you get Jake Ullman in a sweater. That's it.
You're looking, a little svelte.
Yeah, no,
Oh yeah, when's
actually,
your
thin.
fight? When's your body fight?
our body fight, that's May. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
birthday
lifted
week.
I lifted 5 times last week.
Look at you.
Just 5 reps.
Yeah.
That's
Now, who's judging it?
The fans.
the fans. We're leaving it up
Fans
to
are
the
judging
fans.
who's hotter?
Yeah, and we get to pick our picture.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just take pictures.
Well, oh, we could just take pictures?
Yeah, we'll
do you want
pop-
to do glam shots?
Pop top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do crop top.
Okay.
Yeah. But
In our new merch.
we should, we'll do a little merch shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
You should take one of the Unabomber hoodies and like just make it a crop top hoodie, cut it like through so you only get like sunglasses up.
That's actually pretty hot.
Yeah, I think
I'll
that's
do that.
extremely
Yeah.
With
hot.
the
Show some belly
automated
button.
weapon, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to whoever sent us that. I forget his
That's
name.
yeah.
I
just
cannot be
please,
governed.
please use it to keep peace. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, you can wear our merch
I was
doing
like,
whatever you want.
This feels
Yeah.
like I'm gonna get subpoenaed.
Yeah, it's like what? How did this happen? So, I'm gonna just quickly break down what a letter of credit is. It is important to know this is how they amassed wealth, and you'll understand why in a second. So, a letter of credit is an agreement in which a buyer's bank guarantees to pay the seller's bank at the time of goods or services delivered. For example, they would authorize to receive pounds in the London branch at 40 pence to the Florence at exactly 90 days after the service was rendered. So there's some financial exchange here too, as far as like currency exchange. During the early Middle Ages, usury or lending of money for interest was a cardinal sin, which
Yes.
posed a problem for banking institutions such as the Medicis because the church kind of controlled everything.
The church, as much as people are like fucking student loans and debt, and
Church would
everything,
never let that happen.
people get like you get a middle class off of debt,
Yeah, no,
right?
I mean,
like you get because think about it. What's a mortgage?
no, everything
fucking debt.
You cannot buy things that are really, really expensive without debt.
Right.
It's a financial instrument.
I've
It's
tried.
Yeah. It's not a bad word. Like, I mean, if you look at most global superpowers' national debt, they're all in debt.
Yeah.
It's not just us. Like, don't think that's just the thing
Right.
we got to fix.
And I
Everything's
think
debt
of
based.
myself as a gnat, like a
You're a small nation state of Dan.
Yeah.
And you're just running up a debt in order to pay for
Danistan.
bigger things. Afghanistan?
No, just Danistan.
just Danistan.
Okay. Afghanistan, Dan.
My dad's probably bigger than their GDP, so
Yeah,
Dude. So during the Middle Ages, usury was a cardinal sin. A letter of credit was one of the ways they could disguise interest within transactions and refrain from like pissing off the papacy.
It's hilarious that the people closest to the Vatican figured it all out.
Oh yeah.
Like you would think this would be like something that happened in like England, but they were just like, no, I want to divorce my wife.
Yeah. So
now was this kind of like them accumulating all the other people's debts and buying the debts into like one type of
no, this isn't like a collateral. What is it called? A CDO, like collective debt obligation or whatever it is.
Right.
It's not that.
We're gonna get way out of our depth.
Yeah,
really
it's
quickly.
yeah. No, I'm going to keep it the letter of credit. Basically, what it is the bank of the buyer pays the bank of the seller. It's a bank to bank transaction first, because like if you're selling
the
something,
bank's not buying other banks' debt.
no. There's no debt trading here, but there's interest. So using the example above of like Florence to a pound. So the London branch of the bank would then turn around and find someone wanting to purchase Florence in Florence, but at the rate of 36 pence to a florin. So there's a 4% gain of or not 4%, but there's a difference of money that's happening when the foreign exchange is happening.
Right.
I do not have enough time to explain a letter of credit here, to be honest with you. I'm not going to try to, but
Our listeners are gonna be disappointed. I could kind of feel it already.
oh, okay. Well, do you have an hour? I can explain it to you. It would be 2 episodes.
Please no.
Yeah. So basically,
God, no.
the way think about it at correspondent banking. Russia's getting kicked out of SWIFT, so they can't have international banks trading
Right.
capital in order to maintain the
Yeah,
capital
I read
limit.
it Russia wants to make a transaction, they got to send a fucking fax.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so basically the kind of transactions that are happening with a letter of credit are bank transactions.
Right.
So when the banks turn around and move the currency, there's actually a point interest on that. And the Medicis can actually offer financing on payments from that. So
Right.
when
They found a way to make money off of nothing.
when the buyer's bank turns around and collects from the buyer, the Medicis can turn around and be like, hey, instead of having the bank's interest, you can pay us directly instead at an interest rate.
Right.
So they're creating financing basically for larger purchases.
out of thin fucking air.
Yeah, no, and that is not an old antiquated thing. That is how most commodities companies make their money today.
Right.
If you want to look it up, a lot of commodities companies sell at a loss, but the financing on the deal is what actually makes them the money and
Yeah.
margin.
God, we're gonna get so many finance bros in our DMs just telling us how wrong we are about everything.
That's fine.
What-
come
I-
at me, dude. I'm not a fucking finance guy.
Yeah, I like to always take the position. No, I'm not wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm just misinformed.
these techniques, especially the loopholes avoiding the sin of charging interest, allowed them to gain tremendous sums of power and become the de facto rulers of the Florentine Empire.
By the way, the usury or whatever, a fun side effect of that was anti-Semitism.
Oh, no, because Jews could charge interest. So Jews were the only thing that was actually allowing modern industry to happen.
Right. So any money grubbing thing you hear about Jews, like any stereotype or whatever, that comes from
It's correct.
you.
Yeah, we're just going to ignore this entire Italian. The Italians creating the monster.
Today's
but yeah.
Hitler is Dan. But no, like that's how they got that stereotype, was because they were the only ones allowed to like lend money on
it was
credit
the
and shit like
Jewish
that.
loophole.
Right.
Like, yeah, we were like, Christians wanted us to do it. They
Yeah.
were like, hey, you can do this,
Yeah.
so do it.
Jews were the financial hole in the sheet.
Basically, yeah. Wow. A lot of stereotypes, man. Oh, God.
They were the financial soaking.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
The hole in the sheet was good for anyone that got it.
Yeah.
While this isn't necessarily a rags to riches story about the Medici family, it is extremely significant for the period, as it was one of the first major families to elevate itself from just like upper class to ruling class without any prior claim to nobility or any family being elected or appointed into office. They ruled behind the scenes, and as much as I tried to look into highly nefarious dealings that they did, there's not a lot of like crazy stuff.
Right.
Like, like you think like Rothschild
Right.
and all this shit. No, because it didn't need to be hidden
That's
or
like
concealed.
it's like saying like, dude, what was Bill Gates up to? He invented a fucking computer. That's
No,
what he
they
was fucking up to.
invented modern banking,
Right,
so
yeah.
of course they're
Yeah, but
rich. Like
what
that's
was Bill Gates doing with all that farmland?
Right. But no, so wait, they weren't noble. They were like craftsmen, tradesmen.
they were
middle-
artisan bankers. essentially.
okay, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I mean, not artisan bankers, but they were a tradesman, right?
Do you want my artisanal credit?
It kind of was like so. Basically, the craziest thing that's happening, it's just wealthy people doing wealthy things without multinational
Tell me
oversight.
when to stop.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Just tell me when to stop.
I don't even know.
Are
what
you-
that
are you
hand sign was.
artisan-
Grinding some cheese or maybe even some black pepper.
That's artisan.
Yeah. To
Artisanal.
me. Yeah. Olive Garden.
It's Olive Garden. Okay. It's also important to note just how significant their contributions were to the overall European cultural awakening that was the Renaissance.
Okay.
So,
Renaissance does mean reawakening.
No, that doesn't translate.
No, I had to translate it. So what? You trying to dunk on me right now?
Yeah.
Cool. Cosimo Medici, the family's patriarch, contributed during his time roughly $500 million to art and culture in Florence and Europe.
Okay.
So
Seems like a waste.
This is what I always say. Everyone's like, eat the rich. And I'm like, no, I will put the rich in my mouth, but it'll be to fillet them.
yeah, well, to anyone that's like eat the rich about these guys, if these guys didn't finance the Renaissance, we wouldn't have most of the things we have today.
Yeah.
Like-
I kind of get the idea that most people who are like, eat the rich don't understand that they're just.
We would still think the Earth was the center of the universe
Right,
without the
they're
Renaissance.
just
my
like,
understanding-
Isn't it great? Like, we're all serfs. And they're like, isn't it great? We're all equal now.
I'm pretty sure Da Vinci did like 95% of the legwork for the Renaissance.
Yeah.
Yeah, he created everything.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Everything.
Who? I'm sorry. Who?
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci did do a lot. He didn't do everything.
Little
Though.
gliders.
Yeah, that's how everyone was getting around.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if like you time traveled back to like Florence?
Oh,
It's
it's
just everyone
like-
flying around,
On like Da Vinci's bicycle airplane.
people rolling around like the
Yeah.
perfect man. Yeah.
Whee! I would just be like, I'm never leaving.
This is the coolest.
Yeah.
So early on, Cosimo supported the painter Masaccio and helped pay the architect. I don't know.
You don't gotta pronounce it.
To rebuild the Basilica of San Lorenzo. Other famous artists that the Medici family supported include Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, and Leonardo da Vinci.
So-
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I just thought of that as I was reading.
Oh, I thought you did that on
No,
purpose.
I didn't.
Yeah, that's who they are.
It's literally. But the
Cowabunga, dude.
the Medici didn't just support the arts and architecture, they also supported science. They helped the scientist Galileo Galilei in his scientific efforts. Galileo also worked as a tutor for the Medici children, which is insane. And that's like Einstein is my family tutor.
Well, you know who tutored Alexander the Great, right?
Who?
Socrates.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, I mean, so think about this. This isn't even like a noble family that's
Yeah.
getting
And Plato?
this level.
No, Plato was dead.
But he did both?
Plato tutored Socrates. Socrates tutored Alexander the Great.
Oh, Aristotle was Plato?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Fuck.
Yeah.
Aristotle.
You're wrong,
Aristotle. Yeah, my bad. Aristotle tutored.
You're wrong on so many things, but you're so confident. So it's like,
It sounds good.
it always sounds right.
Yeah.
I know. That's how you win with him.
Yeah.
And then if he tells you you're wrong,
But yeah,
just-
Socrates won.
Then
Plato 2.
Then Aristotle.
Aristotle.
Aristotle tutored Alexander. I'm wrong. I feel bad.
Fact check in real time.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So speaking of Galileo, Medici family actually protected him from the Roman Inquisition.
I was about to ask if they had a hand in that. 'cause
They are
he
the
was-
ones that stayed everything.
Oh,
they were
sick.
like, nope, you're not fucking this
Yeah.
guy up. So because he proposed, hey, it doesn't revolve around the earth, it revolves around the sun.
Yeah.
And that was heresy at the time.
I actually am still. I'll go ham on someone who tries to pitch me heliocentrism.
Well,
It's just bullshit. It's just a lie.
because the church did the church ever switch their opinion on that?
I'm actually, I'm
Or
like
they just let that one go?
I'm a real pre-Vatican II guy. I still go
Okay.
to Latin Mass and believe Earth is the center of the
Yeah, the priest
of
is
the universe.
facing, his back is towards us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're not
So,
worthy of communion. Yeah.
so being separate
or
from
looking him in the eye.
No.
I've got more episode.
Ring the bells.
Yeah.
Although their power was not absolute, it was pretty close to it. By being separate from the state and the church, they were able to buy the progress they wanted to see in Florence without having to tiptoe through balancing act that was legislating with placating the papacy.
Well, first off, they weren't part of that big of a state, right? I mean,
Florence is
Italy
pretty-
at this time was like a bunch of city states.
It's,
How much land? I don't know how much like Florence controlled at that time.
It's a pretty
but it was
large
like Florence, Venice, Genoa, right?
yeah.
Genoa,
Rome,
obviously
Milan.
Yeah, well, Rome was the Vatican.
Yeah.
Milan. That was the other one. I was trying
Yeah,
to think of
Milan's a
Milan.
big one. Milan actually
But
comes
these
up.
were all city states.
They're small empires.
Yeah,
they have like smaller towns within them. It's kind of like counties. It's really big counties.
And
And
they were all
heads.
financially powerhouses, but they didn't
Yeah,
run a lot, or
Yeah.
like they didn't have a lot of land. I guess you say.
for sure. No, I mean it wasn't like. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to think of it. Is like there's a county with smaller towns, and there's like a county seat, which
Yeah.
would be like Florence is the seat
Right.
of the Florentine Empire.
I mean, I think like just looking back on a map, they were all kind of the size of like, I don't know, New Jersey or something, maybe a little smaller.
It's a pretty big state.
It's not that big land wise, big population wise, I guess. But
No, it's pretty big land-wise as well. It's not
It's-
Delaware.
it's New Jersey is in the bottom 15 of land state, maybe bottom 10.
But if you're saying these are city-states, that's a massive city.
It's not. City state doesn't mean that the entire area is a city.
No.
It means a city. It's just a small country is basically what it means.
Yeah, they're all little small republics, right? So, like, here's a pretty good map for you, Rob. So, like, Florence would be, where is Florence? It's like, see how the size of them are? Like this. It's kind of
Yeah.
like it's a county. I don't really know how
I would
else
say
it-
so.
I would like to see the size of Italy next to New Jersey.
Well, I'm not doing that right now.
Yeah, we got other shit.
We got a lot of pages to get through here. So, speaking of the papacy, though, the Medici family became trusted as the bank of the Vatican.
Oh.
So they were helping finance bigger construction projects and things like that.
I guess some people could use credit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So by doing that, they were able to get influence in getting cardinals and archbishops placed that were their family members as
Right.
well. And they eventually had 4 popes come from their line.
Sick.
They had Pope Leo X, Pope Clement VII, Pope Pius the Fourth, and Pope Leo XI. 4 popes from a family. That's insane.
All the Leos were good. Everyone knows that.
Were they?
That's why there was 11 of them.
One last fun fact as far as what they've influenced, though, the Medici may be directly linked to the advent of realpolitik political theory.
What does that mean?
Those are words.
Realism in politics, like rationalism,
Oh, being like pragmatic.
pragmaticism. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they threw Machiavelli in prison for conspiracy against their family, which is like something I guess you could do if you were rich enough. It's
Yeah,
like,
why not?
Yeah.
You can do that now.
And he was like tortured for a year. And during this period, he wrote the draft that would eventually be published as The Prince. Yeah. And
Which people now are like, that was satire.
it's kind of, there's a couple different ways you can look at The Prince. So when I was reading it in school, in my political science degree coursework, you can look at it as like, he's being tortured by this family. He's like, oh, yes, I want you to rule so well. Like, this is how you should do it, you fucking monsters. Like, here's the big old book.
Yeah. You're so smart. Ooh.
Yeah, but so it was really the first proposition, though, of pragmaticism over idealism as a way of successfully governing, because the world was like growing a lot smaller with international
So it wasn't
trade.
even said. It was patronizing.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. But no, I mean, that's how most modern politics is done today.
I like that someone was like, you know what? Instead of going to war with that country every time they mildly offend me for my honor, I don't know. What if we did business with them and just like,
sanction them or
hash
some
shit out?
Yeah.
Or if they really put.
It's like, it's such a common. Well, the whole premise of The Prince isn't like, obviously it's better to be feared than loved, but you should be both is the main takeaway there. It's like, but also the big takeaway is like, if you're doing politics based off of ideals, you're never going to get anything done because people don't operate like that. Ideals are not people. People skirt.
Tell that to the current American voter.
Oh, whoa. So that's, in a big nutshell, in a very quick time, the Medici family and their rise to power and their influence over the world today. I mean, shit, I had a job for 2 years because of the Medici family inventing the letter of credit. That's insane.
You owe them.
I do.
You should lay flowers on their grave.
It's a giant, giant tomb.
Sick.
They owned like 27 villas across, I think maybe just Florence, but it might've been all of Italy. But yeah, like they have
27 villas in that small of an area seems excessive.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Even in Italy, 27 villas. Like, we're not talking like, oh, I have a house in
that's true.
Cabo.
Like, it doesn't.
It's a castle. Like,
Well, also, there's only like 4 different parts of Italy. You know what I mean? There's mountains. There's, I guess, inland, and then there's like
27 houses across the world is too much. Like,
you can find 27. Look, if you're rich and like, I wouldn't blame Jeff Bezos for having a house in every different type of like climate you could have.
Yeah, just so I want it to be misty today.
Yeah.
You just fucking super
That's
jet
fine.
over.
Like, I need a tropical Pacific, tropical Caribbean. I need mountains.
I mean, just imagine having 27 toilets. That's excessive.
Yeah, all his houses should be one
Toilet.
one bathroom.
Well, they probably were back then. It was just the window.
Yeah, what if he was like Elon Musk? He was like super rich, but all his homes were tiny.
Is that what his deal is?
That's what Musk claims he was doing, but he's been staying on Lake Austin
Yeah, okay.
in a mansion. So,
Well,
but it's his bro's mansion. It's not his mansion.
Oh, true. Well, that's different.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The president of Tesla, what is his name? Fuck, I forget. Never mind.
Okay. So I'm going to start setting the scene now for the actual conspiracy that we're going to be talking about today. It's just really important to know the Medici. So in 15th century Florence, the other family that we're going to talk about is the Pazzi family. They were both wealthy and well established. The family traces its origins to the early year of the 12th century, when one of their ancestors became the first man to scale the walls of Jerusalem in the First Crusade. So that's a pretty crazy thing to like lie about if they were lying, but probably worked.
I guess, man, they lost. So.
Yeah, it's like, okay. The Pazzi had capitalized on their noble status, so they were a noble family, and they had also entered the banking profession. And they were pretty damn successful, but by the mid-15th century, they were kind of falling apart as the Medici were rising, and the Medici overtook them, basically.
Well, one family
And
rises.
also, this is Medici's kind of new money trash.
Yeah, and they're running the fucking ship.
Yeah.
It's not like these guys weren't running. It was a lot more like wide. The influence was way more spread apart and like what do you want to call it? Like decentralized.
Right.
Until the Medici show up.
Yeah.
It's mainly just the papacy and the legislators, and then some rich guys. And now it's like the Medici's like we don't even need that shit.
Like,
we control the money.
Imagine you're like the Vanderbilts in the Hamptons, and then Eric Trump busts out of a bathroom covered in cocaine.
Yeah.
Right? He's not doing cocaine the right way.
No.
He's not doing cocaine classy.
Quietly.
Yeah. He's
Without making a show
of
of
it.
it.
Classy.
He's not
What is
driving
a classy way to do cocaine?
by yourself in the bathroom.
Yeah. Quietly.
Quietly. Don't you flush the toilet when you sniff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone knows that, Dan.
Just what if it's multiple people in the bathroom?
Then you're
That's
not doing
not
it
classy.
classy.
You're not doing it classy, yeah.
You should have no more than one person in
it's
that
you
bathroom.
and maybe your prostitute.
And what if it's a bar bathroom?
Then you're trash.
you're at a bar?
And it's
Yeah,
just
what are you talking
you're
about?
at a bar?
You
It's
have
just
a bar
you
in
and
your house, you
bros,
fucking trash?
And you're just doing key bumps.
Yeah, that's god awful.
So these people are.
Are you
doing it-
new to cocaine?
I'm doing it all wrong then.
Yeah, apparently you are. But you have. I mean, look, you got a sleeve. That's how sleevers do cocaine.
I feel like the sleeve immediately disqualifies me from ever doing anything classy.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I mean, yeah, no one that's classy has.
You could own the yacht club, and people would still ask you to bring out another tray of hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah. They would also tell you to wear longer sleeves. They'd be like, put that away.
Where's your manager?
Yeah.
So back to the story. At the time, Cosimo, who we just talked about, was the patriarch. So at the time of this event, Cosimo's grandson, Lorenzo de' Medici, or Lorenzo the Magnificent, had taken over. His father had died, who was Cosimo's son. I'm guessing it was. He was like a poet, and he didn't know as much about banking.
It sounds like a terrible magician.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, do you know what? You want to know what his dad's name was?
What?
Piero the Gouty.
Gouty?
Gouty. Piero the Gouty.
Oh, wow. All right.
He had a lot of gout.
Shit.
Dude, he had the king's disease, man. Can you imagine being so gouty and limpy that you get named the Gouty?
So,
you know he didn't name himself that.
Man, if food wasn't so...
Brand the broken.
Is type 2 diabetes kind of a king's disease now?
Oh, that's a peasant's disease. Kings are fit.
But gout. Isn't it king's disease because they eat
back
so well?
then, everyone was fit because no one could afford to eat that much.
That's fair.
Now it's the opposite. Yeah,
true.
Right? So
now a king's disease is anorexia.
I think a king's disease is just cocaine addiction.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
King's disease
you go to Passages Malibu.
is addiction, yeah.
So Lorenzo and his brother Giuliano were considered the two wealthiest people in the world at the time. Like, not the two, but like up there. They were top shit. Lorenzo's power was so secure that there was little room for competing families to even like assert any actual authority. Although the Pazzi family remained one of the wealthiest in the 15th century, their fortunes were not near as robust, and they had, kind of seen the Medici brothers as a natural target for their resentment. Mm-hmm. So,
new money trash.
That's right. They were like, fuck these new money bastards.
Yeah.
Like, we were noble. We did banking after them.
These guys were selling.
They tried to old money their way into their business, and they were like, why aren't we as successful as the guys that invented this?
Fuck. Like, these fuckers were selling oranges to our grandpa.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. The Medici crest does have 5 oranges on it. So they might have been, at some point, starting in oranges.
Fruit stand.
Yeah, maybe. Opposition to Florence's leading family extended beyond the walls of Florence, though, and beyond just like nobility and rich people. The Medici family had recently provoked the anger of Pope Sixtus IV, both through anti-papal rhetoric and by refusing to accept the political appointments the Pope had hoped to make in northern Italy. These are a couple things that happened that really kind of set the stage for the conspiracy to kill these two guys off. So there's 3 people that are really important. Girolamo Riario, he arranged to buy Imola, a small town, with the aim of establishing a new papal state for Pope Sixtus. And that town laid between Florence and Venice. Lorenzo de' Medici, however, had arranged in May of 1473 to buy that town from the Duke of Milan for $100,000.
Okay.
But the Duke subsequently agreed to sell it instead to Sixtus for $40,000. Because it's a papal state, and it's like to get favor with the Pope and things like that.
You make up that 60 with
favors,
the Pope and heaven and all that stuff.
Right? Yeah, you're buying your way into.
You're gonna have to talk me out of being on the Pope's side right now, because I'm kill these motherfuckers if the Pope wants it.
Yeah, exactly. There was just one stipulation: the Duke of Milan would have his illegitimate daughter married to this guy Girolamo, but Lorenzo was like, hold on, motherfucker. This was supposed to be financed by my bank, this sale. So I'm saying no.
Okay. The sale to the Pope?
The sale to Girolamo.
Okay.
So the Pope...
There's too many syllables there. Like, imagine screaming Girolamo in bed.
I actually had to take a couple times to read this just to make sure I was reading about the same person. Because there's so many, like, similar
wild
names.
Ass Italian names.
Yeah, and like 15th century Italian names. So... Lorenzo's like, no, our bank's not financing it. So the Pope has to like scramble to get the sale to go through, and he like negotiates something with the Pazzi family.
What do you mean scramble? You're the Pope in the fucking 1400s.
Having to lift a finger, I imagine, is scrambling.
Yeah, I would just walk 10 feet outside where you sleep, pick something up. It's probably worth $40,000. And just, there you go. You bought the town.
Think about this. That scrambling is,
like,
I have to find another bank to buy this town.
Which golden statue of a Jesus should I sell? What? There's a million of them.
Just take your hat
Yeah,
off.
but they didn't want to sell any.
Just send like a splinter of a bone from St. Peter to some idiot that'll buy it for 40. I mean, it's all worth 40.
They didn't want to sell anything. They wanted it to get paid for.
Right.
So Sixtus tried to then, there's a whole thing about that, and the Pazzi family's like, no, we'll finance it. So the Pazzi family and Sixtus get in good graces. Then, in a way of paying them back, Sixtus tries to appoint some high positions of the Pazzi family, including a family member, Francesco Salviati, to an archbishopship. But
okay. By the way, the best part about this is it's like, oh, you're gonna be an archbishop. They still fuck.
yeah, oh no, all these people are married.
These people are fucking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, all the time. Like, that was pretty clear. It's like, yeah, this guy was married, had a bunch of kids. He's an archbishop. It's like, oh, okay.
Just looks the other way.
Yeah. So, but the Medici family had so much pull in Florence that they would just be like, no, we're not approving that. So they blocked some of the Pazzi family from even ascending up the ranks in religion.
So they basically put sanctions on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially,
economic sanctions.
Yeah. They were
their massive weapon.
They're like, no. And that's how exactly the Pazzi were going to try and get up and over the Medici, was through the papacy at the time.
Right.
And
trying to skip the line.
Yeah.
I get it. That makes sense.
So, although the Pazzi were the main actors in the assassination attempt, they had powerful allies, obviously, with Florentine noble families, and they actually had the blessing of the Pope to kill the two Medici brothers at a certain point.
It is God's way.
Yeah, that's fine then.
So
it's if the Pope tells you can do it, it's not a sin.
Yeah, it's not a mortal sin.
Not even a venial sin.
Well,
it's just not a sin.
It's kind of funny the way the Pope carefully words it, but I'll get to that in just a second. So there's three people I mentioned: Girolamo, Francesco Salviati, and then one of the Pazzi brothers.
God, these people are so Italian.
Yeah, it's Italy or Jersey.
Right.
It is
Good
pretty
Lord.
Jersey. They go up to Pope.
This is just like, I don't know. It's like repeat customers at a fucking sweatsuit, fucking shop.
No, Swiss, but someone picking up a meatball hoagie.
Yeah.
Down the street.
Guillermo's got.
This is the table outside of the deli.
Yeah.
Yeah. These three guys approach Pope Sixtus and they're like, hey, we want your support. Pope Sixtus says very carefully, this is a carefully worded statement: in the terms of his holy office, I am unable to sanction the killing. I would like to make it clear that it would be of great benefit to the papacy to have Medici removed from their position of power in Florence, and that I would deal kindly with anyone who did this. They then instructed the men to do what they deemed necessary to achieve the aim, and said that he would give them whatever support he could. So his carefully worded way of saying, I can't condone this, is, we would love it if someone else did. That's great.
In nome de Patria, Spiritu, Spiritu Santo. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Look, if the Pope's cool with it.
I love that that's the carefully worded way of saying it without being unholy.
Yeah.
It's like, man, shucks, I can't do it, but love it if someone else could.
What's dumb on the Pope's part, though, what this idiot Pope didn't realize, is that you're the Pope. So if you say it,
it's the law.
God wills it. You're infallible.
Do you think?
So if you're
I think you have to respect that line though, and not cross it, so that doesn't get, because you can saturate that.
You're essentially still God's PR team. So you have to carefully word it.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, whatever you say goes.
Yeah, but if you abuse that, then no one's going to listen to you anymore.
Right. That's fair. You don't need to do it for a petty murder.
Right. This isn't as big. To the Pope, this is an inconvenience.
Yeah, this guy calls for crusades.
Exactly. So plans for the assassination of both Lorenzo and his younger brother Giuliano had begun in Rome as early as the summer of 1477, but the conspirators were unable to put words into action until late April of the following year.
I don't want to... All right, so we just did an episode last week on, hey, we always think of societies in the past, even 50 years ago, let alone 100 years ago, whatever, let alone 600 years ago. We always think of them as overly simple, not very complicated, so on and so forth.
Right.
Correct? We really oversimplify these people. We don't give them enough credit ever. We don't even look at them as people.
We look at them as kind of like dumb knuckle draggers.
Yeah, dumb fucking idiots.
Yeah.
You didn't have an iPhone? Fuck you.
They had to retain information in their heads.
And we give them zero credit because, Great Pyramids? Aliens built those.
Right. Aliens did it.
Had to be aliens. Couldn't have been man or
No.
machinery.
Skilled craftsmen and engineers.
Couldn't have been that. No.
No.
All you monkeys couldn't have done shit. But I do have to say, what's the conspiracy? Walk up and stab them or shoot them. There are guns, and it's not hard. By the way, we did an episode on the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. Did those people seem well planned? And that's 500 years later.
Yeah.
Well, if he had the meatball hoagie, he probably doesn't assassinate Franz Ferdinand.
No, we did talk about that in our.
What's the
He Has
sandwich?
Yet to be
Any
Ended.
sandwich, yeah.
But here's the thing, like, what? It's like the end of the 15th century.
Yeah.
Just kill them.
I don't think they have guns.
They do.
Well, not really.
They do.
Not widely available.
Yeah, they're there. But yeah, okay, fair enough. But either way, stab them. Whatever.
Well-
It's not hard to kill someone.
With your pikes.
The way they decide to do it is what makes it a conspiracy.
Okay.
There's a lot of plotting.
Which there doesn't need to be. Give a hobo a knife.
Well,
Kill the fucking
listen,
guy.
Okay.
Let's not kill the entire storyline to Assassin's Creed 2. Like, without this plan, there's no video game.
So
Is this
it's
in
actually
Assassin's Creed 2?
You do assassinate the Pope at some point, yeah.
Oh, the Pope. I thought you meant a Medici.
Well, probably a Medici too.
there's probably a Medici in
Yeah.
there, but yeah, it's actually really hard to kill these guys because they built secret corridors in the city to move around without actually having to go outside.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I mean, I assume they have bodyguards too, but like.
They have a lot of bodyguards.
You can't just stop a guy from popping out with a pike.
Well,
right?
Well, you have your own pike.
Let me get to it because
Okay.
there's a really easy way to kill these guys,
Okay.
and they come up with it.
Are they like-
it is essentially let's just stab them.
Are they
Right.
like the buddy people of Power Rangers? Just
They're
very
not.
easy to defeat.
Touch them in the middle.
So they originally planned to slay the Medici while the brothers were in Rome during Easter of 1478, but the two did not travel to Rome that year. The murderers postponed their plans until the 19th of April when they arranged a lunch with both brothers at a villa in the nearby hill town of Fiesole.
So they're going to have lunch with the people that.
Are going to murder them.
And it was the Pazzis.
The Pazzis
So the
and a couple
Pazzis
of
were like, hey, let's
let's have some fucking
We're like,
lunch,
yeah, we're all
dude.
rich.
Talk
Let's
some
hang
shop,
out. Yeah,
do
yeah,
some
yeah.
bank talk.
You
Break
bank,
bread.
You bank, I bank.
But-
we hate each other.
This is the they
How's
kind
that
of have
meal gonna go?
they have another
What?
How's that meal going?
Right? Yeah. What do you even talk about?
Yeah, like the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like that? I've only been through the first season of Succession, but is it like when they're at that weird orgy bachelor party situation? They're just like talking to other assholes.
Might be.
Yeah.
maybe just with like less noise.
They offer more drugs.
More
Yeah.
harps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, though, before the lunch, Giuliano became ill and could not attend, so the assassination was put off again and planned for the following week. This time, the conspirators managed to get invited to a banquet at the Medici Palace in central Florence after Sunday Mass, and it was after this meal that they intended to cut down their host. They were going to cut him in their own house.
Okay.
Killing your host, of course, bad look.
Right. So
Yeah, or
essentially,
killing
the
your
Medicis
guests.
are like, they won't do this here. It's kind of like politically shitty for them. Just
No
kill me in
honor.
my own house.
No honor with the criminals these days.
Right. Yeah, it was shitty to kill Caesar in the Senate too, but
So normally you kill people in the shittiest places.
right,
Which
yeah.
is anywhere to kill someone.
It's no good place to kill someone.
It's like unless they're like holding a gun to a baby's head and it's
Right.
like, I'm
Where-
going to do it. And then you kill them. Yeah.
Let's say your life ends with you being stabbed. Where would you like to be stabbed?
Wherever it's quickest, because that seems awful.
Yeah, like
There was
through the brain.
Where do you want to?
Like-
No. Where do you want to bleed out?
Oh, like
Bleed
what
out?
place?
What's your final view?
Because like I would love to say like a beautiful place, but I'm enjoying that moment probably until I'm stabbed.
Yeah, but you don't want to die in like an alley
No, I'd rather do
by
it.
some crackhead.
Ben Hill
actually-
Griffin Stadium.
Prefer an alley or somewhere populous to, as opposed to like somewhere remote where animals are going to eat me for the next fucking 2
I'm fine
weeks.
with that.
I'd rather animals eat me than get
Maybe
buried.
a beach.
The beach?
Yeah.
You can get
So
stabbed on a
eat-
beach in
eaten
Italy.
Eaten by crabs. And
Eaten by crabs.
Seagulls.
Whatever. I get a nice view at the
Maybe
end.
seagull shit.
Maybe sunset.
So I'm gonna just get back to this because it's important.
You don't have to ask permission. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it though. I didn't want to cut off your where do you want to get stabbed convo, but I want to
for
talk
it.
about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywhere's fine.
Okay.
No
Stab me wherever.
No preference.
7-Eleven. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, like
That's-
once again,
It's very realistic for Rob here.
Giuliano is unable to join the meal after mass because he's not feeling great. This
Seems
guy's
like he knows.
he's like, man, I just don't know about these dinners with these
He's
guys.
getting some intel.
So at the last minute, they made a quick decision. The assassinations would take place during the mass, and they would have 2 priests press into their service to fill out the list of assassins.
Well, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, no, this is where it gets like Godfather, Game of Thrones shit.
Offing someone in a mass is...
When making the priests do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've seen it done. I've been an altar boy for a lot of masses, and yes, like sometimes someone gets killed during a mass, but like...
It does happen.
It needs to be serious.
Yeah.
And they do need to pay me as the altar boy.
Oh, dude, this one assassination during a mass, I didn't get paid, and I was like, dude, I did a funeral 2 days earlier that paid me $20.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do another funeral for this.
Must not have been Italian.
One time I did a wedding, but this is a real thing, by the way. When you're altar boy for funerals and weddings, you get paid.
I got paid $100 once.
Yeah. One time
for ringing some bells.
One time, some fucking bitch who got married in the church.
She stiff you?
Oh, worse. I wish she stiffed me. Because we're kids, right?
Right.
Did she
We're
take
like
$5 from you?
6th, 7th grade. You're like maybe 12, 13.
She gave us puzzles. She gave us like
gave
a
you-
toy.
But
She gave you a bad
A
toy.
puzzle's not a toy.
That's trash.
Right,
That's
either
cardboard
way.
and shapes.
She was like, look, I got you a present.
It's almost like a homework assignment.
Yeah.
It's like, do this.
Literally. I was like, give me money. What the fuck?
It's like, do you not understand how the Catholic Church works?
Yeah.
Because clearly you don't.
Pay to play.
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah, that didn't
You
go
don't
It's the
away.
most American thing about religion.
You don't
the
get
Catholic
to
Church.
bury
very
your
capitalist.
relative until you give me money.
Man.
Dig them up. Dig them up.
Get it back. You don't. It's fun fact. Your dead relative does not go to heaven if you don't pay the altar boy.
Stuck in purgatory for all eternity.
So the Pazzis and their accomplices and the priests they enlisted plan the attack for a particular moment in the mass at the elevation of the host. What is that?
You raise the host above your head. It's
What
when
is the
you're
host?
blessing the Eucharist.
What is the host?
Communion.
Oh, okay.
Jesus' body.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
the
it.
host.
The flesh wafers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is
Oh.
when it becomes the flesh.
Yeah. It's in the middle of the that sacrament, the Eucharist or whatever.
It transforms from essentially like a stale ice cream cone into the body of Christ.
Yes. That was the funniest part, by the way. So we were at Veronica's wedding, and she's, Veronica's been on the show. She's read our shit.
Right.
Your Future.
She didn't invite me to her wedding.
Yeah,
Yes.
you weren't invited. She read Your Future with tarot cards and stuff like that. And
I got the Twin Towers.
yes, you did.
You got the 9/11 card.
Yeah.
But she was like so they did like had a little like witchcraft like witchy ceremony or whatever. They like with the 4 elements and everything like
Yeah.
that. And like I don't know if they thought it was going to be edgy or if like because I remember even being asked by someone, might have been Veronica or Taylor, like. She said it in her Instagram story too. She was like, "Oh yeah, like it's gonna be a little witchy because we're like lesbians. Can you deal with whatever?" And like, well, I grew up drinking blood, so
And eating flesh.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think your
That's magic, by the way.
I don't think your
I also
witchcraft is going to
literally-
impress me.
Went to Rachel's wedding, which was a Harry Potter themed
Right.
wedding. So actual witchcraft.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just funny because it was like witchcraft, huh? And I was like, well, when I really think about it,
It's all magic. In
yeah,
one way
it's
or
not.
another. Yeah.
What you did is like, I'm going to light some incense. It's like, well, we were drinking
Some guy
blood,
turns
eating
this
flesh.
wine into blood
Yeah.
for me. So
And I
And
started
it's the
doing that
only reason I was able to drink wine at the age of 13.
that's right.
13, fucking 8. Are you kidding me? 8.
Okay, you Catholics. At the appointed moment, Bernardo Baroncelli, a member of an old Florentine noble family, plunged his knife into Giuliano de Medici's chest, uttering the words, "Here, traitor!"
Who did he betray?
No one.
He
was just. They were better than them.
He was just thinking of
that's it.
something cold to say before he offed a man.
Yeah,
He didn't rehearse it.
No, because they changed the plan at the last minute, so he
Yeah.
had no time to think of a good.
Like John Wilkes Booth, Six Semper Tyrannis, he rehearsed that.
Yeah, of course he did.
Well,
he's
he's
a
an
fucking
actor.
loser actor. That is
Right.
such an actor thing to yell. Before he yelled in
How many
Latin.
times did he say that in the mirror before he
Six
offed?
Semper Tyrannis.
More than that, him and his family, that was their favorite play to be in. Him and his brother and his dad, they were all actors, and Julius Caesar was like their shit. Like that was their best. That was a play they're best known for, and blah blah blah. So he was basically cosplaying as fucking.
Yeah, but
Brutus.
wasn't the play that that happened was the American...
My American Cousin or something.
My American Cousin?
Yeah, something
What
like
was
that.
the connection to Caesar there?
He just yelled it because he was
yelled
killing
because
Caesar.
In Julius Caesar, he gets murdered, and Brutus like Six Tyrannus.
Okay.
Always to tyrants. I think is what translates
Death to the tyrant.
Yeah. Anyway, so John Wilkes Booth was like, yeah, I'm Brutus, which I guess he didn't read about the rest of Brutus's history, which he lived very quickly.
Yeah, it was fast.
Yeah.
So here, traitor,
Shouts
is what
to
he
our
yells.
boy, Boston Corbett.
So then
Yeah.
Francisco de Piazzi, a younger member of the clan, followed Baroncelli's lead, sinking blow after blow into Giuliano's chest with his dagger. Witnesses recalled the dark red blood billowing into Giuliano's white linen shirt. All in all, Giuliano's body suffered between 12 and 19 stab wounds and died.
What did the other guy yell? Like, that's what you get for fucking my wife. Like, they're just accusing him of things he didn't do at this point.
They just called him a traitor. That's
Yeah.
not like he was betraying, I guess, their wealth because he was better than them at getting money.
Maybe. I
No.
guess they could say he was betraying the Pope.
Do they finish the mass?
No. At the same moment, the two plotting priests raced towards Lorenzo and positioned themselves behind him. They flashed the concealed weapons. One of the priests pitches forward and grabs him by the shoulder and goes to thrust a knife in him, but the dagger doesn't fully reach the target. So the priests that they just enlisted aren't the best assassins, it turns out.
Yeah.
Bummer. Instead,
It's not what they've been trained to penetrate.
Nice. They kind of scrape his neck. Lorenzo responds.
What?
Yeah. They just
Give him a
graze.
shave.
They just kind of nick him, right? So he's bleeding. It's not
Yeah.
good looking, but he's not fatally injured
So he's
or
like,
anything. It's like, what the fuck? So then Lorenzo responds by grabbing a short sword from somebody right next to him and going after these guys. He exchanges just blows with them. And then he gets swept to safety by his friend Poliziano.
Right.
Because that's his name.
These are just the most interchangeable ass Italian names. You could have just be like, yeah, and then Gumanamana swept ba-da-ba-ba-ba out of it. It's all just Italian syllables here.
Yeah, you don't know who you're yelling at half the
No.
time. Immediately after attack, members of the congregation pour out of the cathedral, fleeing the bloody chaos inside. When the Medici allies realize what's happening, they proceed to the nearby Medici palace, arm themselves, and return to the cathedral to retrieve Lorenzo. Citizens are freaking the fuck out because here's the thing. People love the Medici.
Right.
They brought art to their city. They made Florence the fucking epicenter
Also, a
of...
little bit to aspire to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
yeah.
They're not noble.
It is not again not rags to riches, but it shows social mobility in the highest manner.
Yeah.
So
They pulled themselves up by their bootstraps.
really did by inventing money manipulation.
Yeah.
But so the citizens start arming themselves, but they have limited information. They don't really know how to react. They didn't know if both the guys had been killed. They didn't know if the town's defenses had been compromised. The people were freaked out and pissed off. At this point, Jacopo Pazzi, an elder member of the clan, another Pazzi.
That would be. This is like if this was Irish, it would be like Seamus McMickelson. Like
No,
it's just
I feel
what
like-
the fuck is this name?
I feel like this story is problematic. They should have. You can't name all these guys this guys. It's fucked up.
Yeah,
There's another joke he told.
two on the nose.
Yeah, it's like. Anyway,
Yeah.
The script's getting denied.
yeah. They're like, can we name him anything else?
Yeah, it's like you can't. Like it's like you're like writing a story in Harlem. You're like you can't name 8 people Jamal, dude.
Come on.
please.
So this
He's
Pazzi,
just too Italian.
he runs into the central town square near the main government buildings with 150 mercenaries calling for a revolt against the Medici. He soon realized that the Florentine people were like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Worse, though, was he was supposed to have a bunch of papally supported reinforcements from Sixtus.
Mm-hmm.
They just decided not to show up.
Hey, the Swiss Guard. Sometimes it takes some time off.
So this is how Sixtus was able to kind of have culpability too. It's like I didn't say
Right.
shit.
I didn't tell him what to do. I mean, I can't control everyone that gets stabbed in, Christendom, but
So he's like, shit, I got to get out of here. He runs away, but they start rooting out Pazzi family members pretty
Right.
quick. So the main actors of the plot were soon rooted out. Some of the conspirators who had already been detained in the Palazzo dei Signori were thrown out of the second-story windows of the palace. I guess that was like a classic way to kill people back in the day.
I think it is.
Macias threw some people out of windows too.
dude, that's still a thing. Honestly, I feel like they always say, Our friends who work here who were like in the war on terror, who went to the Middle East, they're like, you don't understand, dude. It's like 400. They're like 400 years behind in a lot of ways, like culturally, in a lot of ways, like socially.
It's like, we don't really need this whole jury thing. We're just going to kill you.
And like a very popular way to fucking kill people over there, especially gay people, is just toss them off a roof and shit like that. So it's like it is like a weirdly like, this is the way we're gonna do it type
Throw
of
them
thing.
through the sky door.
The moon, wait,
The moon door. Make them fly.
Yeah.
Make them fly. So, they throw these guys out of the windows, and the crowd there is like ready for it. So the crowd below starts stripping these people naked and then cutting their bodies in half. Both Francesco de Pazzi and Bernardo Baroncelli, who had delivered the fatal blows to Giuliano, were hanged in the public squares within hours. Policiano himself, the guy that saved Lorenzo, reports that the mob was so enraged that a member of the crowd approached one of the bodies and just began eating the dead man.
Sick.
He's like, fuck you!
Hell
like,
yeah.
eat him.
This just sounds like what they did to Mussolini. These people are...
It's kind of like, it reminds me of Gaddafi, too,
Yeah.
in a way, where it's just like, we're going to fucking violate you with a bayonet.
Dude, yeah. Do you remember that video where they fucked him with the bayonet? Wasn't he alive?
He was alive. And Putin apparently watched that and was like, oh, I got to make sure this never happens.
He's not doing a good job.
No,
of that.
he's really not. Outrage continued in Florence, and corpses of the conspirators soon littered the town square. Over the course of the next few days, members of the Pazzi family were captured and executed or exiled. Others who had even just participated in the plot were apprehended, beaten, mutilated, and hanged. But it was the
Eaten? A little more eaten?
One was
This is
eaten.
more eaten?
I don't know. Maybe some more eaten.
Yeah. Dude, you're so... That's so fucking metal to be like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna eat his soul.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, not
You take a
even
bite out of his
Not
calf.
even cooking them over the fire.
But they all remembered
Eating 'em
Jacopo
cold.
in the town square, and he had the most gruesome death. So, following the failed coup, Jacopo fled to the nearby village of Castignano. Once his whereabouts were discovered, he was dragged back to town with a horse. Concerns that the crowd would rip him to shreds led to his being heavily guarded. Upon interrogation, Jacopo confessed. It was hanged shortly thereafter. The death isn't the gruesome part.
That sounds fine.
Yeah.
Well, if it happens after the death, it's not really gruesome for him.
It's gruesome for everyone else, but it's a principle of
I
gruesomeness.
guess. It sounds like a party for everyone else.
Did they rip out his spine?
In the days following his death, there was a popular outcry concerning the place of burial among his family members. Medici supporters living in the countryside complained that his body in the holy ground of the countryside was a bad omen for their grain crops. So,
True.
Yeah. So a group of angry citizens marched to Jacopo's tomb, unearthed his body, and reburied it outside the town walls. But that wasn't good enough. After the reburial, as we know, Italians love unearthing shit and reburying it a lot. After the reburial, Jacopo's body was unearthed yet again, this time by a group of children, who then dragged the body through the streets
Hooray.
of Florence, pulling it along with the hangman's noose that had been buried with the corpse. When they arrived at the
Gotta say, those kids didn't get enough screen time.
just
Usually
like-
it's too much screen time, but I feel like a screen would have benefited those children.
They really needed more because they were very inventive. When they arrived, they decided to roll up to the Pazzi household with the body.
Were people still living there?
Yeah. The children knocked.
The like 8 people they didn't murder?
Yeah.
Okay.
The children knocked on the door with the dead man's head, asking if anyone was home. The body was then known. They didn't want to take the fucking head and body. They
They're
just
like,
dragged through the city.
We put that where we wanted to put it.
The body was then thrown into the Arno River, where it floated along and eventually came to shore, bloated and decayed, and then just washed away.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Not bad at all.
So
I was expecting
The
much
one guy
worse.
got eaten.
Yeah, I was expecting.
yeah, most people were cut in half.
The eating guy was really the worst.
That is insane to think. It's like, I'm so mad.
Yeah. I just bite someone.
So this attempt was to eventually just thwart and dissolve the Medici family. What they ended up doing was killing the only other person that would get all the wealth of the Medici family. And Lorenzo actually had some worries that Giuliano would try to overtake him.
Okay.
So they just basically concentrated all the power,
They consolidated the Medici family.
all into one dude. It made everybody in Florence love them more.
Yeah.
And then they again were able to just rule for a lot longer than they probably should have been. They ruled for about 300 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're going to go for the king, you best not miss.
Best not fucking miss.
Yeah. That's the story of the Pazzi Conspiracy and the Medici family.
What a bad conspiracy.
They were really bad at it.
They didn't do a good job killing those people.
No, usually when your plan doesn't go through, you don't go, all right, fuck, priests.
Yeah.
Knives.
Let's get the priest to do it. Priests, not typically good murderers.
No, but they got the Pope's blessing.
No, they didn't get his blessing.
They got his neutrality.
They got his, I don't care if you do that.
Did he have to answer for any of this or no?
No.
Yeah, the Pope, essentially, like, they were having a vote on to murder him or not, and the Pope abstained.
Oh, he went full Pontius Pilate.
Actually, it's even worse. He didn't abstain. He was just like, I'd help out whoever did it.
Yeah.
But I can't say I condone it.
Well, it's like the first China abstention on this invasion of Ukraine. They're like, I can't say I'm not into it, but I definitely can't say I am into it.
Right.
So abstain.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you,
Hey.
Russia?
He's like, hey, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I used to abstain in chapter.
That's the best vote.
Just to be a dick.
That's the best vote in chapter. Abstinence.
Secretary is like, what is it? 42 to 37. Okay, it's like, no, 36. I abstained. Mark that abstention.
Recording secretary had to write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one abstention.
Dan abstains again.
I was actually the guy who would always be like, we are not at quorum, so we have to not do chapter tonight.
Oh, fuck. That sounds awesome.
It was a really fun one.
I passed a rule in chapter. Do you guys have voluntary comments at the end of it?
Yes,
Yeah.
remarks.
Voluntary remarks?
Yeah.
We had that, and that would extend chapter sometimes like 30 to 40
Because people would
minutes.
tell stories.
They'd
and
tell stories,
They're
and they'd
not
be like-
natural stories.
They'd be like, okay, hold on real quick. I just want to say something about the trash can on the second floor. Okay, like, yeah, we all use
I already
it.
hate the person you're pretending
Yeah.
to be. Yeah.
Like,
I know this story. It's
that's
like,
not
yeah.
even that bad because they had a legitimate issue. The worst
no,
is
they
when
didn't. They'd be like, and it gets like, I think we should maybe start emptying it. And I should have brought this up a new business, but I just want to say it because it's for the pledges, so it's not really a new business thing. I don't like it that it gets all the way to the top, and I know we fill it up really fast.
Yeah, but
and
there's
I
a
think
guy
maybe,
worse than that guy.
Who's that
It's
guy?
the person rehashing a weekend story that wasn't that good.
Oh yeah,
Or someone telling the story that might not have been there. That's another
That's
one.
even better, yeah.
That's a weird one because it's like, dude, I don't think you were there.
he's like, dude. So I had these. I was
No,
with
I mean,
this
we were so
girl.
blacked out. Like, oh,
It's like, you mean that fight at balls that you weren't at?
it was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
no, man, I wasn't there either. I know it was cool. I heard the story from people that were there.
We had
Thanks.
an uncapped time limit on that initially, and after a year of that, I
You cracked down?
I was like, I didn't crack down. I had to just initiate the vote as like a member. I was like, 10-minute cap on voluntary comments or voluntary
10
remarks
minutes
from
is
now
long.
on.
10 minutes is long.
That is too long.
No, that should be like, dude, you got 4 sentences.
No, not on a single thing. For the entire.
No, that's
Yeah.
10 minutes. Okay.
No, for the entire.
I was like, you're giving everyone 10 minutes?
Oh, fuck no.
I would have
Everyone
never
was
told-
taking 10 minutes.
I was about to say, I would have never told them that because everyone would have used
no,
would have
no.
clocked
The-
it.
It should be like a best man speech.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quick.
the
Sentimental.
point.
It was just like, you
What
could
do you wanna
tell.
say?
You could tell at those meetings there were certain people that was like, this is the most I'll ever get to talk in front of anyone ever, where anyone will give a shit, and they would just be like, I just think that, and it's like you had nothing to say when you raised your hand.
Our thing wasn't like, it was like to end chapter, everyone bangs the gavel. So it goes around the
What a
room.
waste.
And then if
That
you have the
is-
gavel, you get to talk.
That is excessive.
Yeah, it is excessive.
No, I agree. I hated it. It's like, please, we're done. This is it. We finished. We closed chapter. What is happening? No, and that's the thing. That and then like arguments about bylaws where I was like, I'm creating a bylaw to suspend bylaws. Would we want to suspend bylaws?
And
it
then
was
I
like,
would always try to table things.
Oh,
We'll
tabling,
table this for next week.
tabling,
glorious.
really good. If you know anything about procedure and organizations like that, the sole point of that meeting is to
Robert's
get that meeting done.
Rules of Parliament.
Yeah, it's to get the meeting done as fast as possible. There's no other actual goal. No one wants to be there. We're in college.
Tale as old of time is that assholes will just keep talking.
Yeah, go to a city council meeting where there's remarks.
Yeah.
That's when you get the real crazies. Anyway, what'd you guys learn?
I learned that,
Cool.
I don't know what I learned. I learned that banking is profitable.
Very good lesson to learn.
Yeah.
Don't
Smart.
follow your passion, follow the money.
I learned that people should listen to the Pope more. I blame these people for straying from the one true representative of Christ on earth.
Okay. Why are you looking at me so hard?
I learned something today.
What'd you learn?
The difference between like a mob hit in maybe the 70s or 80s and an Italian assassination in the 1400s is a few syllables, not really.
It's hardly any different.
My God, those names. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one for me.
Yeah, I'm impressed with you for even half pronouncing that.
I honestly, when I was writing this episode up, I was like, I'm going to get fucking roasted for these names. Like, it was so hard at one point to follow the plot line, like the narrative, because the names were so close in some of the parts where it's Giuliano and like Guillermo and like all that.
If this was a show, you know what I mean?
It would be
like
canceled.
Netflix or HBO or something like that. No, it wouldn't be well, maybe, but the point would be is you would not remember.
It doesn't get past the pilot.
You wouldn't remember any of their names.
No.
You would be like, oh, that's the handsome actor with the brown hair. Like, oh yeah, there's the blonde one, and like, oh yeah, there's the mean chick.
And
you know what I mean?
That's why I could never watch shows like The Tudors, because same shit.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if Game of Thrones had all similar names, no one would watch it.
Yeah.
It'd be like they had to make those people so different because there's so much going on that you wouldn't be able to follow it.
Well, Game of Thrones actually did a good job of keeping the names mostly really simple.
Jon Snow.
Jon, Sansa. It was like they were like really unique but simple.
Dany.
Even Daenerys. Yeah, they called her Dany though. Like it's
Yeah, for sure. And I think the house associations made it a lot easier.
They did for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was tough to like kind of keep my thread with the names.
Yeah. This is like it, which is, by the way, another impressive thing. Although I don't know how well the Lord of the Rings pulled this off, but it's impressive that you remember anyone's name from Lord of the Rings other than Frodo and Sam.
I barely do.
I don't.
Yeah.
You remember Aragorn?
I was going to say Aragorn's the only other one I know.
Orlando Bloom?
No.
No. Well, yeah, I don't know then.
Grimly?
Gimli?
Yeah.
Gimli. Sorry. Gimli's the elf.
Yeah.
What was Orlando Bloom's name? Yeah, see, I don't fucking know.
Who knows?
And then what was the wizard's name? Ian McKellen? Gandalf.
Gandalf, yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows Gandalf.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's hard to remember a lot of those fucking. But after those ones, I guess you got Boromir and Faramir.
No one cares.
Man, I know a lot of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, fucking nerd. Anyway, who's Hitler?
Money.
Money is Hitler. That's easy.
Yeah. Or
The Pope.
usury.
Interest?
Interest is Hitler. Yeah.
Interest can be Hitler.
Debt. You know what? Debt is Hitler. Debt is Hitler. Cancel my debt.
We're canceling Hitler, guys.
I'll tell you what. I will not vote for a president who won't pay my mortgage. I'm just sick of it.
Sounds
so you're
right.
going to abstain?
I'm sick of having a mortgage.
You're
and
gonna abstain?
I want the government to pay for it. So credit and debt. That's my Hitler.
Dan?
The guy that Rob described in his chapter. He was Hitler every time.
the guy from the story after the story?
Yes.
You know what? I go with Dan on this one. The guy who talks during remarks when he has nothing to say. That is probably.
Say, like.
That's kind of a Hitler thing, though. It's like, I'm drunk and I want to talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand up in this beer hall.
I've noticed a lot of stuff.
Yep.
I've got a couple things.
Yeah, he is the worst. So he's Hitler.
Well,
That was the type of thing where you leave that chapter.
It's worse than murdering somebody in church.
Yeah.
you know what the best move is? Just skipping chapter altogether.
Yeah, getting fined.
Dude.
We didn't find people for that.
We did, for sure.
Yeah, hit me with that $50 fine, bro.
We skipped it once. It was for the Mizzou KU basketball game, and they tried to find us, and we were like, are you fucking kidding? It was like a Monday night. Both teams were ranked. We're like, are you fucking kidding me?
Move chapter.
Yeah, suck my dick.
Yeah. It's always Monday night, too, when the best specials were. Like, best specials in Gainesville were Monday night.
We had great,
And
but I
Friday.
mean, like, our chapter, we had chapter at like
Mugs
6.
Monday. Go to Foo Bar so you can get a fucking mug smashed over your head.
Hell yeah.
Couldn't miss it.
Sick. We didn't have good specials on Monday. We go to Johnny's Beanery, though. 25-cent wings.
Oh, I'm sorry.
$2 pitchers.
We had trivia at Salty Dog on Monday. That's what I didn't want to miss.
Fuck.
Salty Dog trivia was aces.
I got to say, man, I don't.
We're going too niche.
I no longer
the end of the episode.
miss like Saturday nights in
we do not have
college
that
or
B-roll.
Friday nights in college, but I kind of miss Monday nights in college.
Yeah.
Wednesday nights, dude night.
It sounds like you just missed college.
No,
Yeah.
because I'm saying I don't like the weekend stuff. Like that's whatever. But I do just kind of miss like because Monday night was we would be watching Monday Night Football, eating like a pile of wings for $5 and drinking getting shit faced on Bud Light, and
Yeah.
the bill at the end of the night was like $25.
I went out Monday, went out Tuesday. Tuesday was always lady night. Wednesday was guys night. Thursday. Friday, Saturday. I just didn't go out Sunday. Sunday was my day of rest.
Yeah.
I was like,
Sunday's a big day at Mizzou, actually.
I was like, God.
Yeah, Sunday's pretty big. We had Sunday fun day at UF as well.
I would say Monday and Tuesday were the soft nights at
6
Missouri.
days a week I would drink.
I used to, there was a while I just went out every night.
Yeah.
Not like that one guy that was from my fraternity that we interviewed a long time ago that went out like 100.
But it's not like you're spending $20 max.
Yeah, dude. It was just like
it was
not even that. A lot of times,
sustainable.
if it was like if you hit a special, you'd be getting out of there for like $5. If it was like a pitcher.
Yeah, I miss college.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our show, guys. Thanks for listening. Be sure to go to www.softcorehistory.com.
Yes.
Dope merch.
Got
New
some
merch.
tees, got some crew neck sweaters.
Got some hats, some new hats. Those are dope. Got the Unabomber t-shirt and
Unity.
Unabomber hoodie, Unity,
Uni
Uni hoodie. Check those out. And please
Rate,
tell people
subscribe.
about this shit. We want you to tell your friends about this.
Please.
Yeah, we're not desperate. We have good listeners, right? We have advertisers.
We want
and all
more
that
good
shit.
listeners.
I mean, are
We
they
want
good
more money.
listeners though if they're not telling their friends?
They're not good listeners. No.
They're just listeners.
Yeah. If you can prove to me that you got 2 of your friends to listen and you're ever in Austin, I will pay for your bar tab that night. Not buying you shots.
Rob will
but-
blow you.
Yeah, I'll blow you.
With money
Yeah.
at a bar.
Yeah.
By blowing you, he will blow money at the bar.
Money's
for
what
you.
I call my mouth
Yeah.
because it's so money when it's
You
sucking,
don't even know it.
sucking
but he
on
does.
anything, really.
All right, that's enough for that. For Rob Fox and Dan Rochester, I'm Jake Goldman.
And you just got soft served.